Hello, my wonderful people. It's been so long. It's been so long since I was with you here. And I'm so sorry for all those who keep on inboxing me and they are not receiving a definite feedback because sometimes I get into my telegram and I get almost 150 messages and I'm so defeated who to answer and who not to answer. So I try to be considerate to everybody, whether in my VIP or not. Unfortunately, again, I have to give some attention to my VIP students. And so, if you don't get my response, please don't take it that I have anything personal or I don't want to answer you. It's only that it's a bit overwhelming on my hand. And I'm also not a full-time trader. I'm a web developer. So the development part takes a lot of my time. So the moment I get to be in the market or be in the Telegram channel is very limited also from my end. I'm in the process of transitioning from, the web development into full-time trader. But unfortunately, I had pre-existing clients, so it's still a bit tricky for me to just let them go all at the same time. So I still have to continue with the projects that I had beforehand, but I'm in the process of just, emptying my table so that I can trade full time. And during that time when I will be a full-time trader, then you will get my full attention. That I can give you an assurance. So for now, just please bear with me. If I don't respond to you, don't take it personally. And I will respond where I can. I will respond where I can, and especially where I can help, I will do help. But unfortunately, there are things that I also find like it is a bit of a nuisance, in the sense of indicators installation, MT5 stuff. Those are some of the basic things that somebody should have known outside there, because even in the mentorship, we don't offer such. As we just give you strategies that we've proved and tested and we know they are working. So it is you really to know how to install these indicators, because these are things that you will never be trained on by any mentor. So it is your time to do more research before you even ask a question. Because by the time you are requesting somebody's attention, let it be something that is very legit and it really deserves their time. Please be considerate in that essence. I'm not saying I will not answer your questions, but be considerate that whatever you are asking is really genuine and you're stuck somewhere and you really need very great help. Otherwise, there are so much tutorials on YouTube that shows you how to install MT5 indicators, that shows that is basic knowledge. That is basic knowledge. So if you're coming to me, it should be something to do with a strategy, or maybe you didn't understand how it is working, or that kind of thing, or something. And mostly let it be a strategy that was recently released, because if you're asking me something that has been in my channel like 3 months ago, I may not be able to think the exact strategy, because it takes time. I have like almost 30 videos on my YouTube channel. So it means I have to go back and watch again and then start now responding to it is so much time consuming. So anytime you don't get a response from me, please don't take it personally. That is my sincere request. Now today I'm going to give you, sorry, let me just put it on mode, flight mode, so we can be able to concentrate. Today I'm going to give you a strategy that you can cut spikes with it if you're keen enough, and still at the same time you can scalp with it, because I've been getting a lot of requests of the whatever I did on my channel for scalping, or 1 minute, for you to do like 12 to 15 minutes. And the strategies work, but you have to be very sensitive of the trend as well. So nowadays I'm a bit sensitive when it comes to scalping, because I don't want people to blow your accounts. When it comes to scalping, let me give you a 5-minute strategy that you can really scalp well with it. Okay, that you can really scalp well with it. So this is 5-minute strategy. 5-minute strategy. On the main chart, I have the Bollinger Bands. at default, and I have moving average. There is this moving average 200 exponential applied to close. Okay, set it to your color. And then there is this other moving average 20 exponential applied to close also. Those are the indicators that we have in the main on the main chart here. Okay, those are the indicators that we have on the main chart. So the essence here is the 200 shows the overall trend direction, and the 20 is the immediate trend direction. When it wants to change, anytime it will cross the 200, you will understand that the market is maybe ready to reverse, like in this setup here. Anything could have happened. So these are your hot zones where you can be waiting to see what happens from this point, like when we cross the 20 moving average. Okay, and then on this second window, I have my normal TDI. You know I love a TDI very much. So I have my normal TDI, and there's the setup of the TDI in my Telegram channel. Please, please, please note that again. You go to the VIP, binary VIP, my general channel, the People King general channel, and then go to the file section. You will get the setups for the TDI, both for mobile and for desktop. Okay, so I repeat that again. The TDI indicator is in the Telegram channel file section, both for the mobile and the mobile is PDF, because there's no custom-made indicators for all mobiles. So it is a PDF instructions that is showing you how to install a TDI on your Android device or whatever device that you're using. Okay, so on my third window here is my MACD. Okay, MACD, and you can see it is 12.26.9. So it is the default setting of the MACD here. And then on my last window here is my stochastic. Okay, it is a stochastic, and it is also set to default 533. Okay, set to default 533. Let me add some light. Okay, so how do we use this indicator? The moving average red on the main channel is what will give us the trend direction. Okay, it will give us the trend direction every time there is a crossover, like here. We come down and check our MACD as well. So from this point, we know that the trend has changed. Okay, we know that the trend has changed from this point. Now, you don't need to enter immediately. How do we enter? On this point, from here, your MACD is facing down to still give you an indication that we are still on a downtrend. So if you are going to scalp, I repeat again, if you are going to scalp, wait for this opportunity when your MACD is facing down. Yeah, when your MACD is facing down. Now, how do we enter? So we will wait until when our stochastic is on this level, yet we are on a downtrend. Okay, we will wait until when our MACD is on level 80, yet we are on a downtrend. Okay, so this here, as it starts going down, could have been your entry just for 5-minute candle or 10 minutes, and you're out. Okay, 5 minutes or 10 minutes and you're out. Why is this suitable? Is because we are following the trend. This also could have been a right point to enter. Unfortunately, it didn't touch our 80. Okay, it didn't touch the overbought level, so it was a bit tricky here. But this here was the right trade, You enter 2 candles and you're out. Okay, but sometimes be also a bit keen when you see this point here, like it started spiking, went up to the top of the Bollinger Band TDI and came to the middle. So be very sensitive. If by the time you are on your oversold level, you are in between the upper and the middle Bollinger Band, because the middle Bollinger Band always acts as a spiking zone. So be a bit careful on that. So if you are within this zone, I will tell you don't do more than 5 minutes. Okay, same to this zone. I will tell you don't do more than 5 minutes. Okay, so that means then we'll be sifting many signals and letting them go. Yes, better let them go, but get into the market when it is very safe for you. One thing that you need to note also is that when it is a trend continuation, if it is a trend continuation, a level will be tested twice. Like now, this middle Bollinger Band has been tested once, and the second time it's been tested again. So after it's been tested the second time, it will no longer retest again if it is trend continuation. From there now, the trend will continue. And you see the third time, when it reached the initial point here, it tried spiking, but unfortunately that spike now was contained within the 20 moving average, okay? It was contained within the 20 moving average, and that was to tell you we are now on a trend continuation setup, yeah? So anytime you will find like it's been tested once, it's been tested twice, and it's not even breaking through the above moving average of the main Bollinger Band, then know that it will be trend continuation. So in this kind of setup, you can ride with the trend down here. You see the first peak, the second peak, so the third peak can be now for trend continuation. So in this kind of setup now, I can enter comfortably. You see here, it was trying to retest the middle Bollinger Band, but it broke through it and it went down, you see, and the trend continued. So if these three spikes here, didn't break the upper Bollinger Band, then you know very well that now we are on a trend continuation. So you can comfortably place your trade now here. Yeah, you can place your trade now there and ride with it comfortably down, because now we are on a downtrend. It is still official. Okay, so as much as at this point our stochastic was not meeting the requirements, but the trend was dictating our direction, and it broke through a ranging zone. So you can call between this and this here ranging zone. So it broke through the ranging zone and went all the way down. So immediately it broke through the ranging zone, and our MACD is still facing down. And here you see it's retested the middle Bollinger Band of the market baseline of the TDI, and it didn't break through. So you very well know that we are on a trend continuation. Yeah, so it has to break and go down. So you can now ride with this up to at least when this Bollinger Band here, when it spiked the first time here, went to the middle, and then came to retest the lower Bollinger Band. This should have been your exit point. Yeah, but what you can do when you ride with a trend, like from somewhere here, yeah, when you ride with a trend, what I always do is, like, after every 5 to 10 candles, I take some profit. I reduce my lot size. That is what I do. And again, another strategy that I use for trend continuation is sometimes I come and draw the lines like down here and on top here. So on top and at the bottom, I draw the lines. So any point the market will break, if it breaks going up, I place an up trade. If it breaks going down, I place a down trade. So sometimes I place pending orders around this point here. So that is very nice for trend continuation, okay? It is very nice for trend continuation as long as your MACD is still facing your direction, okay? Let's continue and check again. See this point again, it didn't break through going up, so we are still contained within our 20 moving average. We are still, so at this point we are still looking for sell positions. Yeah, and here again it tried spiking, but it reversed and went down. So here you could have gotten a few candles, though this setup can be a bit tricky. You know why? Because your MACD from this point to this point has been going up. Yeah, your MACD from this point to this point has been going up, and you don't have clear direction, especially even using the market baseline. Especially using the market baseline, it is lying flat, so it is not showing you the trend direction. Actually, it could mean the trend is now on a comfortable zone and it's ready to reverse. So I would wish you leave these positions here. Though the trend is still going down, but you can see this spike here. One spike could have taken all that you had traded here. So be a bit careful with such setups. As much as the trend is still showing you it's going in your direction, please still be careful. This here again is a bit of a sweet setup. Immediately it crossed the 20 coming down, but I would wish you place it like after here. And from, you see now again, when we were here at this point, come here, our MACD had started like growing, going down again. It had started like growing, going down, and here we had crossed our middle. We had crossed our market baseline. We had crossed our middle market baseline. Yeah. So with this kind of a setup, we were sure of going down, and again here our stochastic had touched the top level, so it was on its way down. Yeah, it was on its way down. As long as your trend is still respected, like we are still on a downtrend, you can be a bit aggressive and wait for these points. Every time it touches on top, you take 5 minutes. Every time it touches on top, you take 5 minutes. But that is for aggressive traders. Yeah, that is for aggressive traders. As long as, especially if you add that you are checking also your trend on M15, you know, and you're still so sure that it is still in honor of your trend, so you can always pick these points. Every time it touches, you place your 5 minutes. Every time it touches, you place your 5 minutes. Okay, so that is how you scalp with it. You see all this, that is how you scalp with it. Now let's go to a point where you will use this for catching spikes. Yeah, for catching spikes. That is when our trend will have changed. You see, the trend was very long. All these were opportunities. All these were opportunities for you. All these were opportunities when it touched the top of the stochastic. All these were opportunities. Yeah. So let's go here. This was an opportunity because we're still on a downtrend. Yeah. This was still another opportunity. Until at least you see the MACD now has finished its race on the downside and it's ready to switch and go up. Now be ready to catch your spikes. Okay, now be ready to catch your spikes. So you can decide and use this strategy for just catching spikes. Yeah, you can decide and use this strategy for catching spikes. So the shifting of your MACD from the lower side to the upper side, that is your sweet point. That is your sweet point of entries. Like you now know officially the trend is ready to change direction. Okay, so as your MACD is coming down, like minimizing and coming towards the zero line, which is here. Yeah, come and wait for your stochastic down here. Immediately your stochastic reaches down level 20, place your trade. Okay, place your trade, and still at the same time come and check the middle of your Bollinger Band, the market baseline. It is retesting the middle. Okay, it is retesting the middle. market baseline. So if I get this kind of setup, oh my God, here, I place my hold. And do you see what happens immediately after? So you can let the scalping part of this strategy and just try this. Just leave the scalping part and just say you're going to cut spikes with it on 5-minute time frame. Okay, you can get this setup once in a day, but I tell you it will yield fruits. Okay, so as your MACD is moving from the lower side towards the upper side, as it's coming towards the zero level, okay, as it's coming towards the zero level here, yeah, and your stochastic here is at level 20, place your trade here. For sure, it will not let you down. And at this point, do you know how many pips that is from there to here? Very crazy. That a scalping person would have taken a whole day, and it took you barely 1 candle, 2 candle, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. It took you 10 candles of 5 minutes, which is 50 minutes, to gain something that somebody had scalped the whole day. Yeah, so be very keen with these zero setups here. Zero setup means no strength of MACD, like it can be buyers or sellers. So, and still at the same time, when you are here, your 20 moving average was telling you we are being crossed, like the trend is changing, like you could see the clear picture here of your trend. It's changing direction. Okay, so this here was your jackpot. Let's continue again. Our MACD is definitely facing up, but there is a crossover that has happened here. Yeah, but trust me, it will be a small retracement or so, and then another setup again will show itself. Okay, you see it spiked here and just went to the top part of the Bollinger Band here, also here. So let's continue to watch for our setup. Let's continue. These setups here also can be used if you're keen to know the trend direction. Why? You see between this lower part here and this lower part of the TDI is slanting up. Yeah, from this point to this point is slanting up. From your MACD, the peak here to this peak here is slanting up again. But what do you see here? This peak and this peak is slanting down. So definitely there is a divergence. Yeah, there's a divergence, and your MACD here does not have the strength that the MACD had here. So definitely beating this MACD is very quick. So what could I do? Immediately I saw this fast spike, and seeing those divergences, I could have entered into the market. Okay, and still your stochastic at this time was at your very sweet point. Yeah, so and you just ride with the trend. This kind of setup, yes, it will yield some fruits, but it will not be as fast as like the immediate the former setup that I had shown you earlier. Okay, so it will yield some fruits, but it will not be like raining spikes. Yeah, and probably it always goes to a bit of a higher, like this point, like former spiking zone. So it will just go and retest that zone and then retrace again. Yeah, so you see here this spike here came on the middle of the Bollinger Band, and you see here again market baseline. So what was to show you that we will spike in the middle was this former small spike. Yeah, this former small spike would have shown you that we will spike here in the middle, as long as our MACD is facing up and your stochastic is already at your oversold. Yeah, your stochastic is at oversold, and we are retesting the market baseline here. So this was your sweet spiking zone. And one spike here, it covered how many candles? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Almost 8 candles of 5 minutes each, which is 40 minutes. So you can imagine getting one spike of 40 minutes here. Stochastic directed you. So your MACD is facing up and your stochastic is at oversold. That is a very sweet point for you. These are some of the points that you can also bet your whole account. Why? Our direction, we are still on the buyer's zone. The buyers are already in the market, yet the stochastic is telling you it is at oversold. Yeah, so that is a very sweet point. Let's continue. Again, you see when it reached here, as long as the MACD is facing up and your stochastic reaches down, is another sweet point. But at this time, unfortunately, the trend was weakening, because you see the peak of the MACD here and the peak of the MACD here is like almost on the same level. There was no strength to push up. So it will still work, but just one single spike. And then when you see this kind of setup here, a ranging market, you understand that the trend is ready to change immediately. Yeah, you understand that the trend is ready to change. So with this kind of MACD struggling to go up, the buyer strength is over. We are ready to reverse. Okay, the buyer strength is over and we are ready to reverse. So probably when I add some price action, yeah, come and see how it behaves here. It goes to the lower part of the Bollinger Band, comes to the middle market baseline, goes down again, comes, and the market baseline is used as a resistance. Yeah, the market baseline is used as a resistance. Now from this point, I'm so sure of my sell, and still at the same time, we were crossing the 20 moving average. So with this kind of setup, I would have rode with a trend for 1 hour from here. Yeah, I would have rode with a trend for 1 hour, especially as it broke through the lower of the Bollinger Band here. I would have rode for 1 hour with it without any fear. Okay, without any fear, until at least when it touched level 30, the RSI of the MACD, of the TDI, touched level 30. That would have been my exit. Please mark that this is 5-minute time frame. And then still at this point, you can still ride with it again as it breaks through this zone here. As it breaks through, like you put on top, a line on top, and a line at the bottom. So whichever direction the market will break, that is your direction. So you cannot clearly say there's a clear indication of any trend here, because we are retesting the 20 moving average, yet we are not breaking. You are not breaking it. So this ranging zone, you just leave it. And you cannot say that you've already entered an uptrend if your MACD is still facing down. Okay, so you still have to give it a shadow of a doubt that it's just a small retracement and will continue going down. So I would have put a line here and a line on top. So whichever one that is broken, that is where I'm ready to go. So at this point here, if it breaks your lower line, ride with the trend again, but probably for 4-5 candles and you're out. Okay, 4-5 candles and you're out. Now this is another setup here. This is another setup again of a small retracement here. when you don't see any proper setup for you to enter, just let it go. Yeah, when you don't see any setup for you to enter, just let it go, unless you switch to 1 minute time frame and try to catch these individual spikes using the TDI. But even you see the TDI here, it's very key. Like it first retests the blue line and goes with it all the way to the top, and then tries to retrace back. So I will do another video of just using the TDI, especially on higher time frame, to catch the spikes, yeah, or even ride the trend. So for this one here, I was just trying to show you guys the using the stochastic to enter. So the right point of stochastic is here. The right point of stochastic is here. And if you're using this stochastic here, since our MACD here is at level 0, be a bit careful with it, because anytime the trend can change its direction. Yeah, anytime the trend can change its direction. So this kind of setup, I would not trade it. Yeah, until at least when I see this crossover. When I see this crossover and the ranging market is coming to an end, so I would have placed maybe my line there and caught this up to the lower band and see how it will react. Yeah, so a sweet point to enter is this point where it's not breaking above 20. Yeah, it's not breaking above 20, and your MACD is already facing down. Your MACD is already facing down, and your stochastic is touching your level 80. So your stochastic is touching level 80, the MACD is facing down to mean sellers are in charge, and level 80 here means it's overbought. And then here, come and see how it's behaving here in the middle part of the Bollinger Band, the market baseline. It is resisted on the market baseline. Yeah, it is resisted on the market baseline. This is your sweet spot to enter, and you just ride with it. You just ride with it. Okay, so I believe that is a sweet setup for you. I don't want this video to be very long. Please go through it and then give me your reviews for those who will have tried it. With this kind of strategy, I use it on both. Another sweet spot before I exit. This here, when your MACD is behaving like this, it means it is a ranging market. Yeah, it means it is a ranging market. Exactly what you're seeing on top here, it is a ranging market. When we are on a ranging market, you can trade both ways. Like when it reaches here, and especially after you've seen it spiked to this point, and then another spike it didn't go above, and then another spike it didn't go above. From there, just ride with it. So as your stochastic down here is coming down, take 2 to 3 candles here down and exit. As it is reaching down, because it is a ranging market, buy again, catch your spike. So what is directing you on a ranging market is your stochastic down here and the lower Bollinger Band of the main chart. Okay, your stochastic down here and the Bollinger Band here. You see, so here it was your MACD is facing up a bit, yeah, to tell you that there are some sellers, there are some buyers in the market. Yet here it's reached the oversold. So this was a sweet point to enter and catch these spikes. And why do I have the confidence that it's a ranging market? Is that our 20 moving average is cutting across our chart. It's cutting across our chart. So we are not going up nor down. It's a ranging market until at least when we break through this zone here and this zone here is when you can clearly see now we've broken through those zones. Okay. This kind of a setup here is again another indication that yes, the trend had been coming down a bit for like 1 hour or 1 hour and a half, but when your MACD is coming to touch this level, and it was coming from zero level, yeah, it was coming from zero level to come and touch this lower line here. And especially, do you see how your MACD, your stochastic here is behaving? It had spiked the first time, went up a bit. As it is coming to touch again down, that is your sweet spot to enter here. I don't know how I can paraphrase this, but I always catch these spikes, and it is like, especially when you come out of a ranging market, yeah, you come out of a ranging market, and then we go on a small stretch that will allow you to see the trend of the MACD. Immediately the MACD is touching the peak here, yeah, immediately the MACD is touching your level 10. So at this point, just ride with the trend. What again will give you the direction is that while we were going down, the Bollinger Band of the TDI and the Bollinger Band on the main channel did not move. It was so wide, yeah, it was so wide. So this gives you the indication that our market will reverse from this point and cover all the way that Bollinger Band. So it move from this point and cover all the way to the top part of the Bollinger Band. Let me give you an example. What I mean here is when the Bollinger Band is wide on top here, it gives room the market to play, okay? Let's go back and see where the trend was sharp, where the trend was very sharp, okay? What I mean is like this point here, this point here. You see the trend is very sharp going down. So even if it spikes, it will just go either to the middle or the top, of which it is very near. So anytime you are trying to catch spike in this kind of setup, it will not yield much. Yeah, it will not yield much because the spikes will only go to the top part of the band. Yeah, that is the room that the market is given to play with. Okay, so if you've never incorporated a Bollinger Band onto your trading, please do. It's very, very necessary. All this setup here, the market can only spike to the top part of the band. Okay, so that is exactly what I meant here. You see, it comes from the lower part of the Bollinger Band, and since it had not the band was very wide here, it had a lot of room to play with and go back all the way. Okay, so it's more of a ranging market in a 5-minute time frame. Yeah, so that's it for today, guys. Please practice this in your demo. See, even here it spikes from the bottom and goes all the way to the top part of the Bollinger Band. Yeah, spikes, and again here, see the peak here, the peak of the MACD and the peak of the MACD on the same level, the peak of the TDI and the peak of the TDI on the same level, while the peak of the main chart here and here, it's facing down. So there's a divergence. This divergence here will show you that the market must reverse and go up, and that is why you head. And unfortunately, at this time, your Bollinger Band also was very wide, so it gave market room to go back and cover all these pips that had been covered by the market while trending. Okay, so if you need very good places to be catching spikes, these are the setups. These are the setups when the band is very wide, and then there could be a divergence. Yeah, there could be a divergence between the TDI and the MACD. So that's it for today, guys. Please go through this and ask any questions. Okay, God bless you. Bye and happy trading.